United States aircraft carrier carries its own factory inside its hull. Not a storage room, not a toolbox, a real working factory, with lathes, welders, and furnaces running while the ship moves through open ocean at 30 knots. There is no nearby supply store out there. No truck can deliver a spare part in the middle of the Pacific, so the sailors on board build what they need, from raw metal while the ship keeps moving. That is the world we are stepping into today. This is not a small repair closet tucked away somewhere on the ship. This is a full industrial operation hidden below the flight deck, doing work that most people never even think about when they see a carrier on the news. The jets get all the attention. The catapults, the landings, the roar of engines. But underneath all of that, there is a quieter story. A story about steel, fire, and the sailors who keep one of the most powerful machines on Earth running far from home with nothing but their own hands and their training. Stick around, because by the end of this video you will understand why the U.S. Navy calls these ships floating cities, and why the workshops inside them might be the most underrated part of the entire operation. If you respect the work these sailors do every single day, type "respect" in the comments below. It means a lot to us, and honestly, it means even more to the people serving out there. Here is something most people do not know. When a carrier leaves port, it can stay at sea for months without returning to land. During that time, parts break, pipes crack, machines wear down. And there is no option to simply order a replacement and wait for shipping. The part either gets made on board, or the job does not get done. That single fact changes everything about how these ships are built and crewed. The department responsible for most of this work is called the Aircraft Intermediate Maintenance Department. Sailors just call it AIMD. Think of it as the difference between a small home garage and a full vehicle plant. AIMD is not patching things up. It is rebuilding engines, fixing radar systems, repairing flight gear, and keeping aircraft combat ready, all while the ship is underway. This single department is broken into smaller shops, each one handling a different kind of work, and each one just as important as the last. One of those shops handles jet engines directly. Sailors there take apart engines that have flown dozens of missions, inspect every single part, and rebuild them piece by piece. This is not simple maintenance. These are the same kind of engines that power some of the fastest aircraft in the world, and a small mistake during a rebuild could cost a pilot's life. That pressure sits on the shoulders of young sailors, some barely in their 20s, working in a hot, noisy shop below deck, hundreds of miles from the nearest land. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because the engine shop is only one piece of a much bigger picture. 5 minutes into understanding this ship, you start to realize something most people get completely wrong about aircraft carriers. They are not just warships. They are mobile manufacturing plants that happen to also launch fighter jets. And the part of the ship that proves this best is the machine shop. A space most civilians will never see, run by sailors most civilians will never hear about. Inside the machine shop, sailors work with lathes, welding torches, and metal cutting tools that look like something out of an old-school factory floor. Their job is simple to describe, but incredibly hard to do. Take a piece of raw metal and turn it into a working part for the ship. No blueprint delivery, no outside vendor, just skill, steady hands, and years of training. These sailors are trained in two main trades. Some are hull technicians, focused on welding, structural repairs, and fixing systems that run throughout the ship. Others are machinery repairmen, focused on precision parts, the kind of work where being off by even a tiny fraction can ruin an entire piece. Together they keep the ship's internal systems running, from piping to mechanical parts that almost nobody outside the Navy has ever heard of. What makes this work so impressive is the pressure behind it. If a critical part breaks at sea, there is no waiting. The carrier cannot simply pull over. It cannot dock at the nearest port for a quick fix, so the machine shop becomes the only option. A sailor takes a block of metal that on its own is worth almost nothing, and turns it into a precise component that can go straight into a multi-million-dollar system. That is not an exaggeration. That is literally part of the job description for these young men and women. And it does not stop there, because the machine shop also plays another role that most people would never expect. These same sailors are trained as emergency responders. If something goes wrong on the ship, like a fire or a major leak, the machine shop sailors are often among the first ones running toward the danger, not away from it. They call themselves the first ones in and the last ones out. That single detail says everything about the kind of people serving on these ships. Before we go further, take a quick second to like this video and hit subscribe. Most people watching right now will not subscribe, but it truly helps this channel keep telling stories like this one, and it costs you nothing. Now let's go a little deeper, because the machine shop and the engine shop are just two pieces of a much larger system. There is a shop dedicated entirely to survival gear. Sailors here inspect and repair parachutes, ejection seat components, and emergency equipment that pilots rely on if something goes terribly wrong in the air. This work demands extreme precision, because a mistake here is not about a broken machine. It is about a person's life. Every stitch, every strap, every piece of equipment gets checked and rechecked before it is approved for use. There is also a shop focused entirely on electronics and weapons systems. This is considered one of the largest sections within the maintenance department, and for good reason. Modern fighter jets depend heavily on radar, targeting systems, and complex electronics. When something in that system fails mid-mission, it gets sent down to this shop, where sailors troubleshoot circuits and components with the same kind of focus a surgeon might use in an operating room. Then there is structural repair, the shop responsible for the physical body of the aircraft itself. Wings, frames, and other structural parts go through inspection and repair here. If a jet returns from a mission with visible damage, sailors in this shop are the ones who decide whether it is safe to fly again, and if not, they are the ones who fix it. Each of these shops works independently, but they are all connected by one unbreakable rule. The aircraft must be ready, and the ship must be ready, no matter where it is in the world, no matter how far it is from the nearest base. Here is something that puts the scale of all this into perspective. A modern Nimitz-class carrier weighs around 100,000 tons and stretches over 1,000 feet from end to end. That is roughly the length of 3.5 football fields placed side by side. Underneath that massive flight deck, there are about 18 levels going down into the ship. 18 separate decks, packed with crew quarters, workshops, kitchens, and machinery, all functioning together like a small self-contained town. The newer Ford-class carriers take this even further. These ships are considered the most advanced carriers ever built by the U.S. Navy, capable of carrying out a significantly higher number of flight missions compared to older carriers. To put their size into perspective, one of these ships weighs close to the equivalent of 400 Statues of Liberty. That number alone tells you why people call these ships floating cities instead of just warships. But size alone does not explain why these ships work so well. What actually keeps them running is the sheer number of trained hands working below deck, doing jobs the public almost never sees. There are sailors monitoring pipes, sailors machining parts, sailors rebuilding engines, sailors checking parachutes. All of it happening at the same time, every single day, regardless of weather, regardless of distance from home, regardless of how stressful the mission might be. This is the part of military life that rarely makes the news. There are no headlines about a sailor successfully repairing a jet engine valve at 2 a.m, 3,000 miles from the nearest coastline. There are no medals for a flawless weld that holds together a critical pipe system during a storm. But without that kind of work, none of the flashy parts of a carrier's mission would even be possible. No jet launches. No successful missions. No safe landings. That is why so many veterans say the real heart of a carrier is not the flight deck. It is everything happening underneath it. There is something else worth understanding here. These young sailors, many fresh out of training, are essentially running a small industrial plant while also being trained as emergency first responders for the ship. They are mechanics, machinists, electricians, and firefighters, all wrapped into one demanding career. Few civilian jobs ask for that level of versatility, and even fewer expect someone in their early 20s to carry that kind of responsibility. When you really sit with that thought, it becomes clear why people deeply respect the work being done on these ships. It is not about firepower or technology alone. It is about the discipline and skill of normal people choosing to take on extraordinary responsibility far away from everything familiar to them. The next time you see footage of a fighter jet launching from a carrier deck, take a second to think about everything that happened before that moment. Somewhere below deck, a sailor likely repaired a part on that exact aircraft. Somewhere below deck, another sailor checked that pilot's safety equipment. Somewhere below deck, the machine shop may have built a piece that is now sitting inside that very jet, holding everything together at 30,000 feet. That is the real story behind these ships. Not just power, not just speed, but the quiet, relentless work of sailors who turn raw metal and broken parts into a fully functioning, floating military city day after day, mission after mission. These sailors rarely get recognized for what they do, but their work makes everything else on that ship possible. If this kind of story matters to you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe before you go. It genuinely helps more people discover stories like this one, and it supports the work that goes into bringing them to you.